I'm doing great. How are you? Good.
Bobby, you've never experienced it, but today's cut game, what does that do to a team? Some of the players have
I mean, I got cut a couple years ago, technically, but just say, no, it's always a tough day because like when you come in the building, the process is different, so you don't know if you're saying what's up to guys or you don't know if you're saying goodbye to guys, and so a lot of guys work so hard for this moment, and in that moment when your dream seems like it's over, it's tough, but you try to offer as much encouraging words, and some guys will come back on the practice squad, some guys get an opportunity to go play for another team, and you just try to find a way to extend your career as long as you can, and that's kind of my advice to guys.
How do you feel like the defense is kind of coming together? Obviously, we haven't seen all you guys kind of starters and everything out there, but from when you've been out here, how do you kind of feel like it's all coming together?
I feel it's coming together really, really well. I think a lot of it is just communication. A lot of it is getting out there and making checks and things of that nature. And so now it's going to be nice to kind of change gears and focus on preparing for a certain team and getting ready for the season. So I feel very, very confident about our guys and where we're at.
What do you get out of Lloyd Jordan's come back from his injury?
It's been amazing. I mean, to have an injury like that towards the later part of the season and be able to, work your butt off and make it and, be in the position that he's in, it's been amazing. It shows how hard he's willing to work and, what this means to him. I'm excited to get the opportunity to play with him again, and, we're going to make the most of it.
But we talked to you at the beginning of the camp, what it was like being back there and all that, but now you've gone through a full camp. Just what's this experience been like being back there compared to maybe when you were before?
At first it was an adjustment because obviously you left for a minute and, you kind of wanted to come back. I didn't want to treat it like it was when I left because, like I said, that a lot of guys became leaders and a lot of guys, got put in certain roles. And so, for me, I just wanted to, add to that, add to, where the guys were at. Obviously the fans have been amazing, and, I'm looking forward to finally getting out there and playing the game.
Do you feel like you found your voice or what your role is fitting back in with the guys who took on a larger role last year?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, you've still been in the league for 12 years, so there's a lot of, I guess, bumps and bruises you can share. There's a lot of things that, I've gone through that can maybe help speed up the process, make sure you don't make the mistakes that maybe we made, when we were young in the game and things of that nature. So, definitely feel confident where I'm at as a leader and, looking for areas to grow too.
You saw undrafted guys make impacts on this team. So you started with Brock Boyle, etc. To see what Jake Bobo's done throughout camp and kind of carve out a spot on this roster and be a part of this. What does that kind of speak to and his ability to do that for you guys?
I think it speaks to the type of person he is, the competitor he is. I think it was funny because, the more Bobo thing kind of started happening in OTAs and, guys were like, oh, well, wait till the pass come on. And then it started happening when the pass came on and then, oh, let's wait till the game. And then, each moment or each challenge he got faced with, he just stepped up to the plate more and more and did a really, really good job. So, I'm happy for him, excited for him. Like you said, you've seen a lot of people come and do this, and it's, pretty awesome because, again, I don't know that experience, but, you think you're going to get drafted, you don't get drafted. Do you come in here not knowing whether or not you're going to be on the team, but you work as hard as you can and you make it. And so, now it's, what do you do with the opportunity?
How mad were you when you caught that ball last week that you tipped?
Oh, last week? Oh, it was practice, so I wasn't that mad.
Who initially coined the term more Bobo?
Chad. For Chad.
Going back to your leadership, you mentioned the 12 years. Are you more apt now to offer advice or not, or are you just pretty much seeing it kind of the same?
I think I've always been in a place in trying to, offer advice. I think sometimes too you have the people that you're talking to have to want the advice. Sometimes you kind of wait and see who wants the advice or not. But you also, when you see something that you've seen before and you know what route that's going to go, good or bad, you speak up and you say something and you try to do your best to lead them in a positive direction.
All 10 draft picks made it, and 8 of the 9 from last year are still on us. So 18 first or second year guys, basically. A lot of people kind of compared that to like when you guys all came in. And do you see that comparison or analogy kind of at all, kind of fitting? Or
I'm not really a comparison question type of guy. I think everything is different. You got, back then it was linebackers, before, like right now it's more corner secondary. I mean, you have different mentalities. Nobody's going to be Cam, nobody's going to be Sherm. For me too, I think that comparison comes so often. If we get some good DBs in here, the first thing they say is Leisure Boom 2.0. And that's just something that you can't, live up to. You got to make your own mark, do your own thing. So that's what I preach. I don't preach comparison. I preach like, how can you take it further than we did at our age?
We've heard some players talk about this camp feeling kind of extra competitive and each guy's battling and all that. Have you felt that it's been a pretty good camp in that way?
Yeah, it's been a great camp. I think all across the board you got guys that's wanting to prove things, whether it's, older guys that want to prove they still got it or younger guys want to prove that they belong here. So it's been a very, very competitive camp. It's been fun to be a part of, and, I'm excited to kind of get back out there and get these live bullets.
How much are you excited for this season in particular?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Like I said, I'm one of those guys that want to prove that he still got it. Also, my last play in a Seahawks uniform wasn't that positive, and so, God blessed me to have an opportunity to right that, and I'm excited to do that.
You feel like people don't think you got it anymore?
I can care less what people say. I know what I have, and I know what I'm capable of, and you hear the talk, but you just wait for that moment to prove yourself right.
What do you feel like you guys can accomplish this year? Great practice.
I think we could take this thing very, very far. I think we have talent at every position. I think we have talent on offense. We have depth on offense. We have talent on defense. We have depth on defense, and now it's just putting everything together. And I feel like it's a cliche, but you take it one game at a time. But, we are strong in a lot of areas. And, it hasn't been that way for a minute. And, I feel very, very confident where we're at, where we can go. And a lot of it is just, putting your best foot forward and understanding there's going to be highs and lows, but trying to remain balanced in the process and be your best version of yourself.
Bobby, you may have an idea of what the team's going to be heading into the start of the season. How many games in the year do you think it takes for you to actually know what you have, for the team to kind of settle in, the identity to kind of emerge and all of that?
I think it kind of depends. Every year is different. I think, some years it's the first 4 games. Some years it doesn't take to the, after the bye, wherever that is. It could be an early bye. It could be a late bye. I think it's the challenges that you get. There's been teams that have started 8-0 and never really found their identity. They just, play well, and then they fall off at the end of the season. But there's been teams that, start off 1-4 or whatever the case may be, but found their identity and go on to be, 12-win team or whatever. So a lot of it is just going out there creating. It's my first time playing with a lot of those guys, and their first time playing with me, and figuring out how you feed off one another during the game. Figuring out how you handle challenges during the game. We haven't been on a, hopefully don't happen, but like 14-play drive in the series. That's really, challenging. And you learn that through the course of the season. And it's a team that can capture that and hone that in. So I don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully it's early and at the right time, because there's teams that find that early on and lose it late, and vice versa. So, you want to be the team that's hot when it counts and headed into the playoffs.
Does it ever trip you out, like seeing Nico be a coach and see Shad on the coaching staff?
Nico, yeah, because it's funny, watching him, put plays in and things of that nature. Shad is funny because Shad likes to put his own plays when he's watching film, so he'll put old plays of him doing well. And so it's funny watching that. So, Shad's funny because Shad wants to remind the guys that he played very well when he was here. So he finds every moment to do that.
Have you got a chance to watch Sherm on TV yet?
Yeah, I think it's been great. Like, who would have thought that Sherm was going to be on TV with Skip? That's a very funny situation, but he's done a great job. And it's funny because all of them kind of out talk him, so Skip don't really talk. So You know,
Who's the better podcaster, Sean or Pedro?
both. That's a great answer on this end, though, because I'll be invited to talk back to both of them.
Anything else?
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good,
man.
appreciate it.